Alright, so this video is going to be about the brainwashing and the propaganda science that is used by the New World Order to persuade, indoctrinate, and manipulate the general public on a daily basis. I'm going to show a handful of clips just to demonstrate the point. And also I just want to talk about how it is just the fact that they've got it down so well. And depending on what they're trying to sell to you, I mean everything, the lighting, the person they use, or the voice, and the colors, it's just amazing how they've got it down really to like an exact science. For example, if they're trying to push something like, say, well, like in a video I'm about to show you, they're trying to sell the whole implantable RFID, and they use this good-looking girl, and they use all these cool graphics, and they make the girl, she acts all witty and charming. But then if it's something, they're against, say, drug use, if you use illegal drugs, not the drugs that they push on you, the big pharma drugs, then they use, really dark colors. It kind of has this depressing, negative feel to it. So it goes a lot deeper than just what the person's actually saying. It's the whole mood that they create to manipulate you. I'm also going to have some clips where they shove their environmental, or I should say their enviro-Nazism garbage down your throat. And in one, they use a little girl, which us as mammals, we're, if they show a little girl and they make it look like global warming is going to hurt the little girl, our mammal-like instincts are going to kind of kick in and kind of, that's pretty powerful when they use children, because we instinctively want to protect children. So that's a huge way of manipulating us. And then also I'm going to show some children cartoons. Actually, Captain Planet from back when I was a child. I used to watch that, and it's kind of strange to think that they were indoctrinating me back then, and then just as time went on, they pushed this environmentalism BS more and more. And it's just funny because they planted the idea in my brain a long time ago, so I guess they wanted, by the time in the year 2010, that I would just mindlessly accept all the BS that they shoved. But anyways, here's the first clip I'm going to show. It's one of Google trying to sell you on the wonderful RFID implantable chip.
Hey, I'm Kinga Phillips, and this is Google Current. Searches were up for Baja Beach Club this week, a nightclub in Barcelona. Now, the place looks like a good time, but people all over the world don't start searching for a nightclub unless it's doing something freaky. And it is. The club began injecting ID chips into its VIP guests 2 years ago. The right-size chips allow VIPs to skip the whole velvet rope routine, get into the swanky VIP areas, and charge drinks automatically. Sort of like starting a tab in your arm. This week, a U.S. company called CityWatcher.com adopted the same technology and implanted chips into a few employees, eliminating the need for company IDs or access cards. But some folks are worried that CityWatcher has bigger plans for the chips. That's because the company makes its money setting up camera systems for cities trying to keep an eye on crime-ridden areas. An obvious next step for a surveillance company would be virtual tracking, which has some people freaked out. People like Catherine Albrecht, founder and director of Caspian, Consumers Against Supermarket Privacy Invasion and Numbering. That's the group that took on Walmart a little while back when they first switched to radio frequency chips to track packages. Albrecht published the book Spy Chips, started a website of the same name, and even put out this eye-catching t-shirt. Needless to say, she's not too stoked on the possibility of our government or other private agencies spying on us through our consumer products or chips embedded in our skin. Oh, and FYI, the website says that if you're trying to disable an RFID chip, a microwave will work, but it's not recommended because it can start a fire. And also, don't try to drown the chip. Water doesn't work, and neither do magnets. Of course, the companies manufacturing the chips, like the VeryChip Corporation, maintain that their goal is to improve our lives. VeryChip's website focuses on health concerns and safety that shows how their products prevent Alzheimer's patients from wandering off or babies being delivered to the wrong mothers. But I guess in the end, what really counts, though, is if the thing can get me in with the VIP crowd at the hot Spanish disco. Then I'm all for it. Just put those drinks on my arm.
Wow. So I could go on and on about that video for a while. I mean, it was only what, like 2 minutes, but the amount of manipulation in that is crazy for how short it is. Okay, first off, just notice the way she acts. She acts like really, cool and hip, and she talks about wanting to go to this stupid little beach nightclub or whatever. And I mean, that's the perfect way to sell it to the stupid MTV watching sheep, if you think about it, because they love nightclubs, and man, that'd be cool. I just could like scan my arm and pay for my drinks, and so they try to make it all appealing by talking about a beach nightclub, and I mean this is all just incrementalism that the New World Order is always using, and then another thing is notice how they talk about the anti-RFID chip people, and they make them seem all weird and kooky, and they say they're freaked out, which, I mean, it is weird to have big corporations wanting to put chips in you and then trying to sell it to you by making it all cool and hip to go to the special stupid nightclub with your freaking chip in your arm. I mean, this is so weird. And oh yeah, and then they also try to sell it at the end. So yeah, notice they make the anti-RFID company look all weird, but then they start talking about Verichip, and they say, oh, and they could do great things like make sure babies aren't given to the wrong mother, and or we could help Alzheimer's patients. So yeah, I mean this is disgusting, and I don't watch TV. I try to avoid any sort of internet ads, so I can only imagine this type of stuff is probably everywhere. All right, so notice in that clip where they're actually trying to sell you something, sell you this Mark of the Beast implantable chip, how they make, just look at the colors, everything's bright, and they use cool graphics, and they use an attractive woman, and she's talking all like the chip is all hip and cool. So as a contrast to that, I'm going to show something where they try to give you a sort of negative feeling. And yeah, you'll notice the colors are all dreary and depressing. So here is the anti-drug one.
This is your brain. This is heroin. This is what happens to your brain after snorting heroin. And this is what your body goes through. It's not over yet. This is what your family goes through, and your friends, and your money, and your job, and your self-respect, and your future. Any questions?
So that's a pretty famous anti-drug commercial. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that. But my point was, it's a lot more than just the message and what they're saying. It's everything about it. It's just the whole production. Yeah, I mean, it just goes so much deeper than just the message. It's a lot of subliminal stuff is in there too. All right, so the next part is going to have more of the environmental brainwashing, and I'll post some clips of that and analyze that.